Are you curious about how different the college life would be compared to high school? Today, we have Yazhini, Karthikeyan, and Abirami Senthil joining me to talk to a current college student, Nirmal Rajendran. He is my son. He is doing his bachelor's in computer science in the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. So today we are going to talk about different topics. What's the difference between high school and college? How typically college students spend their holidays, and how they are finding internship opportunities, and so on. Uh, Even though he is my son, I learned a lot when I was recording this video. I hope you will find this useful too. Come on, let's get started.
What's the main difference between high school and college?
So the main difference is that in college, you have a lot more freedom, which also means you have a lot more responsibility. So it's a lot more up to you to go out and make friends, to study, to learn your class material, to, take care of your food, your laundry, everything. But you also end up having a lot more freedom. So you can do whatever you want. You don't have to study. Your parents aren't going to make you study. You can go out, you can eat whatever you want, you can do whatever you want. So the main difference is that it's all more up to you now at college.
Yay!
So what would you say like the difference is between like classes, like between high school classes and the classes that you take in college?
Yeah, so colleges, there's way more classes to choose from, first of all. And at least at UNC, you also get to choose the time, the professor, the building. You basically like custom pick what class you need. And then once again, it's more up to you to pick your classes. And then once you get into class, you're gonna learn at a lot faster of a pace. It's gonna be harder. Even if you didn't have to study in high school, you will definitely have to study in college. Um, and yeah, homeworks are usually not daily, but well, it could be for some classes, but usually it's not daily. You'll have some bigger projects, maybe only like 6 assignments are due the entire semester, but they're due every, 2 weeks or so, and they're pretty difficult. So you got to budget your time, make sure to learn on your own, and then get it done by the due date. No one's going to remind you either.
I remember like before you were talking about how like college classes like would be like much harder than high school classes. So what do you think is the best way to study?
Yeah, so in college you have office hours, and when you have a question on homework that you don't understand, go to office hours. That should be your first resource every time, because you get help from a TA that knows the material, and they'll personally help you in most classes. And then a lot of times they will even give you the answer and then explain how they got there. So for a lot of classes, it's almost just expected that you will go to office hours, especially once you get to higher level ones. There's basically no one that can pass a class like that without office hours. So always go to those. You can email your professor. I think AI tools now are so helpful to learn, because you can ask a question like you're talking to someone, not having to, scramble on Google. So definitely use those to learn, not to cheat, but just to learn.
Chat GPT.
Yeah.
How's the social life? Do you feel more social now or before in high school?
So at the beginning, college social life is a lot harder than high school social life. And that's because, first of all, you don't have assigned seats in any classes. So you're not sitting next to people that you know every day. So you're going to see new people every single day. So it's hard to build a consistent relationship and actually make friends. So the way you do that is through your clubs, through events. You got to, make the first move yourself, ask people for their Snapchat to study or have contact. And then eventually you will make some friends. You know, it might take a little while, but don't get discouraged. You'll make some friends.
Were you able to keep in touch with your high school friends when you went to college?
Yeah, I was able to, mostly because, we all have social media and we talk consistently through there still every day. Um, but most people, if you go to a different college, it's hard. Unless you go to the same college, you can't really just expect to, stay too close with them, but definitely reach out on social media. You don't have to completely lose them or anything. It's not that bad.
Do you get
Social media was helpful even finding dorm rooms or apartments or something like that. So,
Yeah, social media is like how everything is done in college. Facebook Marketplace is the best place, I think, to find apartments so far. Everyone puts it on there. Your college probably has its own Facebook group just for leases and subleases and all that. So if you check that out, you can find dorms and apartments pretty easily.
How long did you live in your dorm?
So you have to live in the building you choose for the entire year. Usually that's how leases like work in college and stuff. But you can sublease, like if you're studying abroad one semester, you can sublease your own apartment or sublease from someone else for just one semester, and then you'll be gone the other semester. So you don't have to lease for a full year, but usually you do.
How were you able to search for your internship?
So at UNC and probably at your college, there's going to be career fairs throughout the year. If you go to those, you get to meet recruiters in person, give them your resume. You learn more about their company, what they're looking for. So those are a big way that people get internships. Another way is just, social media. Go on LinkedIn, message recruiters, try to get a referral from someone that you know works there or from your college that works there. So many job boards online. There's Discord groups probably for your major where they drop like new roles that dropped and what to apply, what they look for. There's a ton of resources on the internet. It's just got to look for it.
I know for computer science, it's like especially difficult because our major is like super saturated. How long did it take for you to find your internship?
So for me, I got my first internship at the end of sophomore year, so that summer. And it took in the fall before that, maybe like 2.5 months of just consistently applying every single week. I applied to probably over 100 that semester, which isn't a lot, by the way. That's like the bare minimum you'll have to do for computer science internships. And then out of that, I got very lucky. I got 2 interviews. I didn't do well on the first one. And then the other one, I just happened to go through the entire process. And there'll be multiple stages for computer science, like the technical, behavioral, maybe even one more phone call interview. And then, there'll also be an assessment you'll have to do online, like a problem solving assessment called like leak code. So yeah, it takes a long time and a lot of applications. So be ready for that if you're going to computer science.
I also heard that there's like a lot of like jobs on campus, like research wise. So like, could you explain more about that?
Yeah. Oh wait, did you say research jobs?
Yeah, like I heard like in labs and stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So yes, a lot of your professors are there because they're doing research, and they'll probably be doing some really cool research if you go to a big university. And they're also teaching a class on the side, right? So if you want a research opportunity, you can usually talk to your professor. And if you're doing well in the class, if you show some effort, they'll likely invite you to come work in their lab. And sometimes it's paid, and then other times you just get a credit for a class. But the biggest thing is you get that experience that you can put on your resume, and that's going to help you big time for getting internships and other opportunities in campus. And it's all going to snowball well into later in your career.
How would you say that you spend your summer?
So if you're in computer science or any of these kind of majors that require an internship in the summer, you usually have maybe like a few weeks off after your finals end in May. And then your summer internship will start if it's 10 or 12 weeks, right? And then you come to whatever city your internship is in, and it's just like working a full-time job. And then school will start again and you're back in school. So you don't really have those like 2.5 month summers like you do in high school anymore.
with the first year summer is when you have some free time to do fun things, or
Yeah. Most likely your first year summer will be the closest to high school, but I know a lot of people then that still take online classes. They'll do research over the summer, which it's all good. That kind of stuff doesn't end up taking, 9 to 5, so you'll still have a lot of free time anyway. And I recommend something like that your first year summer because you're not going to get an internship most likely, but you might as well do something, and these don't take a ton of time and they're good for you.
So what would
Even
you say? Oh, you can go ahead.
yeah, no, even during academic year, you are not sitting in the class from 9 to 5, similar to school. So you are going to have a lot of free time. That's my guess, right?
No, that's a big misconception. You think I only have 2 classes a day. It's only an hour and a half. I'm gonna have so much free time. That is a mistake, and you will quickly
Okay.
learn that is not true. You have, because like I said, in college you have to do everything. So even if you have that hour break, now you have to go get food. You might
Yeah,
have to go print something. That hour quickly turns into just running some errands before your next class or next thing happens, right?
makes
And then
sense.
you have to do homework, and then you have research, and then you have clubs. And then you probably still have to make another meal and then shower and then go to, you're doing everything. So
Right, got it. Yeah, part-time
all that free
jobs.
time is used up very quickly.
Got it. Yeah,
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah.
So how many hours of homework would you say you have like in a day?
So that can vary super drastically in college because you choose all your own classes. Um, so when you're in the thick of it, you'll have some semesters with a lot of hard classes and weeks will get rough. Then you can expect to just work all day. I mean, you'll stay in whatever building you work in, the library, your, department building. You sometimes will just stay there the entire day. Like you just don't go home except to sleep. And that's not going to happen too often, but definitely in your junior year, when you're taking the hardest of your classes, that can happen. And, it's not that bad because your friends will be there with you and you'll just have some fun. But typically, like just an average semester, just an average week, you can expect still at least like 1 to 2 hours. I mean, it really depends on your major, your classes, but I think that's definitely reasonable, 1 to 2 hours a day.
What do you think helped you get your internship the most? Was it like recommendations from teachers or
I got my first internship just by cold applying, and I would say I got very lucky because I didn't have that much experience sophomore year. I only had taken my first computer science class like the semester before that. So the biggest thing is you got to apply to smaller, like more niche roles. You can't just straight up start applying, at Amazon, Google, but that's definitely what you do in computer science. You just gotta, apply to as many companies as possible. So apply to those, but also apply to more niche roles. Like my first internship was an Oracle software developer. It's not just a normal software engineer or a software developer. It's a bit more of a niche role that less people apply to, that if you don't have so many skills, you're not competing with as many people. So you find it easier to get that. And then, of course, networking is probably the actual biggest thing you could do to get internships. Who can get you a referral. They can get you skipped past the first biggest weed out stage, which is the thousands of applicants that they're looking at the resumes of. So, yeah.
Do you feel comfortable with your major? Did you ever want to switch at one point?
Yeah, you definitely have moments where you want to switch your major. But, at least for me, I'm okay with computer science because it's such a broad field that I can, even if I get disinterested in what I'm doing as a software engineer, I can switch into another adjacent field very easily, like, data analysis or systems developer, or there's just so many different things you could do with computer science. You can even just go in a management position. So for me, I'm happy with my choice, but I'm sure some medical students might be regretting that because can't do much with the biology major unless you go to a higher level of education.
have you like considered minoring in anything or are you already like doing a minor?
Yeah, so I have a double major in information science, which is pretty similar to computer science. So I get to overlap a lot of my classes, and it's not like I have to do full 2 majors. It's just kind of like half of a major and then one full major. There are also minors you could do. I personally didn't do a minor. I know some people that are doing minors, and a lot of people just end up doing a minor in something fun, like, music or like a foreign language. It doesn't have to be something that you're doing just for your career. You can do it for fun and just get that minor on your resume because you think it looks cool.
So that's all. We have come to the end of the video. Hope you found it useful. So we have a part 2 continuation to this one, where we are going to talk to Yazhini and Abirami and listen to their high school experience. In addition, I'm also working on handful of videos, interview with pre-med student, med school student, research scholar, essay coach, and so on. So subscribe to this channel so that you will get the notification. It is free. Just click the subscribe button. See you in my next video. Let's share our journey. Thank you.